I'm going to do a quick video on a fix that needs to be done on my 2021 RPod 190. I also had to do this on my 2021 193, so I'm guessing that I'm probably not going to be the only one that needs to do this repair. And you know, I would suggest checking it out because you might have this problem and not even know it. These rails that the outdoor griddle and shelf mount on just aren't solid. I don't know. I think this one was more solid when it was new, but it just, I don't know if it's coming through on the video or not, but it is just looking like it's ready to pull off the side of the camper. So you really don't want to hang a griddle on it like that. I have successfully repaired my other one, have not had a problem since, so I'm going to do the same thing on this. So before I remove the rail, the first thing I'm going to do is actually take my utility knife and I'm going to score the sticker that's down the vinyl decal that's on the whole side of the camper here. This rail is installed over it, and then there's a silicone sealant put on, but that's just to seal it. It's not to glue it or anything, so it's relying on these screws every 8 inches or so, and yeah, it just doesn't seem like it's up to the task. So I'm gonna first go around and just lightly score the vinyl all the way around, and then I'm gonna remove the rail. I'm probably gonna go about an 1/8 inch, maybe even a 1/4 inch, probably an 1/8 inch. I don't want it to necessarily look like I cut a chunk of the vinyl off, but that's a key thing to do here so that I can get the rail to adhere to the actual side of the camper. So yeah, I'm gonna score it, and then I'm gonna pull the rail off, and then I'll show you where we're at. So I had forgotten, because it's a while since I did my first one, there is actually a piece of like double-faced foam that they stick in the rail. So they kind of try and stick it to the side of the camper. It's just not done well. So you can see here, I already pulled out a chunk after scoring it and then removing the rail. Then it's pretty easy to just peel the whole chunk off. So I don't need to fight with trying to peel well, maybe it's not much of a fight, but I don't need to fight with trying to peel the foam off. It's a little cold, so this might fight me a little bit. Might not want to just come cleanly off here, but we'll see. But you get the idea anyways. Once you've scored it with the rail on there, then the rest of it theoretically should be fairly easy. So the other thing that I should have mentioned is that I'm going to offset this slightly so that I'm not going to run in the same holes. The holes actually all the screws seemed like they were in there pretty good when I pulled them out. So I might be able to do that, but I'm going to get a much better secure mount if I shift it over like 1/4 inch. So I got just a tiny bit of cleanup to do here, but the goal is going to be to shift it over like 1/4 inch so you won't even notice, but we're going to wire new holes through everything. And since we're going to put a nice bead of adhesive caulk on there, it's going to fill up the holes that are there so we won't have any water problems. So if you go to any Home Depot or Menards or anything like that, you're gonna have like literally like 70 different choices. I'm using the same thing I used the first time, Magnus Bond, and this is actually not from Home Depot or Menards. So you can source whatever you feel comfortable using or do some research online. But this is high strength Magnus Bond 1 part 25 AM, and I selected gray. Got some grass on there already, but I selected gray. Hopefully it'll be a pretty close match to the gray on the camper. It's going to be close enough that I don't think anyone's going to notice. So I'm going to put a bead of it in the rail right where the adhesive foam was. I'm going to put a pretty generous bead in there. We can always clean it up later, but we can't add more later. So we're going to put a pretty generous bead through there, and then we're going to put it back up to the side of the camper and fire some screws in. So here is my bead. As you can see, I've filled in the void, and there I'm holding it pretty perpendicular so you can see how much is sticking out. I tried to be fairly generous with it, so it's going to squish out and fill in all around it and give us a little bit to run our finger across and smooth out, specifically on the top. So the important thing now is going to be to line it up, offset it slightly, and then put it back in right next to where it was at, making sure that it's level and done correctly. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I have screwed it back on here. You can see it's kind of pushing out the ends there, And you can see I probably could have planned this better and offset my scoring of the sticker, but it'll be just fine. And then I still need to run my finger across the top. You can see it's squished out there. I'm just going to smooth it out, and then the repair will be complete. All right, the gray matched up really nice. I kind of smoothed it out with my finger, made sure everything was sealed up good. You can see down here I even kind of covered up the little gap of sticker, and the gray really did turn out nice. So give it a day and it should be completely dry, and it should be much more solid than it ever was. And I know that because the other one I did is still running strong, and it did not last very long from the factory. So anyways, if you got this problem, hopefully that helps you figure out, either you can copy my method or maybe you can even tweak it and figure out something better, but this has worked out well for me.